Are you letting your ego get in the way of way bigger and better things? Yeah, I know. I got it. Yep, I got it. No, I got this. I've done this a million times before. Are you one of those guys or girls that can't get out of your own way because of your ego? Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, all right. Yeah, you got it. Oh, yeah, yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think we've all been there a little bit. At least I have. What's up, warriors? This is Kyoshi Dave Herman with 5 Elements Tactical Training, here to share with you some warrior skills and drills that anyone can learn and everyone should know. If you're new to the channel, welcome and thanks for stopping by. If you already follow us on social media and that's how you find your way over to this channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button and that little thing where it says all notifications, so YouTube will let you know when the next video drops, and you get all sorts of cool content from here as well. Hey, there's a time and place for everything. Sometimes having an ego is a good thing. Like if you're in martial arts or law enforcement or whatever, if I went into like a full contact fight or something like that, and I try to be nice and let the other guy think that, you know, he's all that and I'm not, that's a recipe for disaster. My police job, I'm on a warrant squad. If I walk in and I'm asking somebody if I could place them under arrest, that's also a recipe for disaster. So there's a time when, having a good ego or having, the confidence that comes with an ego. So as long as you're not overconfident, because that's kind of a recipe for disaster also. But having an ego is a good thing. But today we're talking about when to check your ego at the door and walk in there and just be modest and humble. And there's a saying in the martial arts, empty your cup and drink my tea. Let's get after it. So I've been teaching martial arts for over 25 years. And there's a common thread that I've seen in the different dojos that I've taught in and trained in, and I cross-train a lot. And I see it in law enforcement as well. There's like a lot of alpha male or alpha female, is that a thing? Or alpha type personalities like that. I'm the boss, I'm all that, I'm in charge, I'm the best. And almost like a tough guy or tough girl attitude, which again, there is a time and place for that. However, when you're the one on like the learning side or asking for somebody for help side, whether it's because you are volunteering to go learn something or police work, you are voluntold to go do something. And hey, there's a person up there teaching and you're the person who's learning. And if you walk in there with that kind of like I know everything attitude, man, that's it's not a good thing. And it's not helping you out at all. And like I said, I've been there before, and in my younger, didn't really get it type of days. And I guess maybe even now and then, if I find myself in I don't know, I'm trying to think of the last time that's happened to me. But in the last couple of weeks, I've been back to cross training. I just got over a whole year of being like kind of on this disabled list, whatever you call that. I had 2 shoulder surgeries, and I finally got the okay to like, hey man, go after it. So I've been cross training some of my jiu-jitsu, which I hadn't been able to do, some more sparring, which I hadn't been able to do, some more firearms training, not as the trainer, but as the trainee. And man, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And my survival stuff, I had going out to Ohio for survival school training and stuff like that, just really just getting after it and making up for a year of not being able to do it. In the last couple of weeks, I had some pretty cool opportunities, both teaching-wise and learning-wise. And in the learning setting, I spotted the guy or girl that kind of was in there with all the ego. And I'm nobody's boss, so it's not my spot to tell somebody else like what they should or shouldn't do. But I'm like, man, they're missing this really awesome opportunity because they're like they know better type of thing. And then I was asked to do some really cool teaching opportunities also. And I encountered not the same people, but the same mentality, that same personality type. And that I'm always trying to be as nice as I can and as like helpful as I can and genuine as I can, and like, hey, I'm here to help you. And when you run into that, it's almost like from the teacher side, you don't want to help that guy after a while. You're just like, well, all right, dude, you know everything? Go ahead, do your thing. And then when they make mistakes, like if they ask for help, I'll help them, but I'm not going to go out of my way to help them if they're not going to be receptive to learning. Hey, side note, when you guys reach out and let me know what you're thinking about the video in the comments, or put in your 2 cents, or get a conversation going on the side in the comments, I love it. I love it. I love it. Especially like all my subscribers and viewers or audience or whatever, as the channel's growing and you guys are growing, and you reach out and let me know what you think. And I can't even tell you how much I appreciate the support and the encouragement. It's like tackling fuel. You keep liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and all that good stuff, and I will keep grinding and keep pumping out these videos. So I really hope you're digging it. And if you are digging it, let me know what you're digging best in the comment section below. So I'm gonna share a quick story with you. I'm gonna make it as quick as I can. And it's not a war story by any means, but it illustrates a lot of these points that I'm trying to explain to you that I hope you're receptive to. Or maybe you should share this with somebody that you could think like, might need to watch that lesson, hear that lesson, watch that video, get that message. And anyway, so about 10 years ago, my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor is my very good friend. And he's from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He's a world champion and came from a really like hardcore like school that produced a lot of champions. So he said he was going back to Brazil, and he asked, anybody in the school if they wanted to tag along. And I was the first guy. I'm like, bro, I've been telling you since I met you, if you ever go and you have a trip like this, I'm coming. I've been to Thailand for Muay Thai training. I've been to the Philippines for stick and knife training. So this was just like an awesome opportunity. So me, one of my dojo brothers that I've cross-trained in a lot of arts with, who we've been brothers and dojo brothers and training partners for a lot of years, he came with, and a few other guys from the school. Now, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school that I go to, they're pretty competitive also. Like, there are some like really good high-speed guys in there. I'm not that guy, but I like to train with them because they help me get better. The school we were going to visit in Brazil was the school that my instructor had come from, and those guys were even like higher level, higher speed, just like legend after legend, champ after champ. Like, it was just an awesome experience. Gordo and Gordinho, they were Gracie Barra, like guys from the original Gracie Barra, that when Gracie Barra kind of became more franchised, they kind of left and started their own thing, and it was just an incredible experience because there were so many guys of that caliber that were training in that school. So, when we go down to the school to train, we would do in 2-a-days, which means we would train like 2-3 hours in the morning, go do some other stuff, come back in the afternoon and evening, train 2 or 3 hours again. And for guys that were used to training like maybe, an hour or so a day, 3 days a week, to change up your schedule and go to a routine like that in itself is challenging. The people in the school were like they're trained to be world champions in every weight class, every experience level, and it was so awesome. Now, after the first, second, third day of training, we would just like beat and sore, and it was very hard. Now, the guys that I went down there with, we were all sitting around the table, the bar, wherever we were, and just talking about our experience of the last couple days. And they were kind of like, oh, this guy was a jerk to me, this guy was mean to me, this guy was he was definitely trying to hurt me. And as I'm listening to talk about the different people that they were talking about training with, I said, no, that guy helped me learn this choke and that arm lock, and he wasn't mean to me. And as I'm listening, I'm like, oh, we talking about the same people. The conversation took a little bit of a change, and I said, wait a second, let me ask you something. Well, what was your attitude with that guy? Oh, I wanted to show him how good I was, and I wanted to show him how good of a school we are. And I'm like, you went down there and tried to kick this guy's ass in his own school? Well, what would you do if somebody did that to you in your school? And they're like, oh, I'd mash him up. I'm like, well, there you go. They said, well, what'd you do, Davey? And I said, well, I don't even remember the phrases, but in Portuguese, I remember learning like, hey, I'm new at this. Hey, would you help me? And hey, could you show me that again? Or like, I'm sorry if I'm slowing you down. It's just like humble, modest, like, hey, I'm just here to train. I'm here to learn. And by no means did I make them think that I was in there to try and beat them up in their own house, which I know I wouldn't take if somebody walked into my school and did that. So the experience that I had with them was totally different. So these guys were like going out of their way to help me and like pulling me on the side and showing me extra stuff. And they were trying to beat the hell out of my friends because my friends went in there with this different type of attitude. So back to the saying in the martial arts of empty your cup and drink my tea, I cross-train in a lot of martial arts as often as I can, as much as I can, because I'm just a junkie with that stuff. And the same thing with my firearm training. And now back to my survival skills. Whatever school I go to, I walk in there like I don't know anything. When I went to the police academy, it was kind of hard to be an instructor on a mat with a bunch of people who are trying to learn, and I want to help them learn because they're my teammates and classmates and all that stuff. But if I start teaching them, the other instructors are going to get all bent out of shape, just like I would get bent out of shape if somebody did it on my mat in my class. So for me, it was challenging to go in there and not do that. By the end of the academy, the instructors were like, when it was okay to be cool to us, hey, Herman, I appreciate you like helping them but not helping them, and letting us do our thing. And it was just a very, very cool dynamic that they were appreciative and receptive that I was checking my ego at the door. And my experience with the police academy, very challenging. My experience in the Philippines, Thailand, Brazil, survival school, all those things. It's very different than a lot of other people's. And people who go in with the same attitude as I do, I'm sure they have a very similar experience. So I'm not telling you this to impress you, but to impress upon you just the idea of when it's important to check your ego at the door. If for no other reason, but hey, if I come at you with my hands up, chances are you're going to put your hands up too. But if I come at you with my hand extended to shake your hand, chances are you'll probably extend your hand to shake my hand back. So that mentality, wherever you go, school, work, business, anywhere and everywhere, the more you interact with people like that, the more receptive they'll be to you. And then the more they're willing to share with you, it's like a win-win. They're happy to see you, you're happy to be there, they're happy to teach you, you're happy to learn, you make way more progress. When you call them up later on or email them or text them, like, hey, could you refresh me or help me with that? They're like, yeah, man, any way I can help you. You go in there like a knucklehead, and they're going to be a little bit more hesitant or resistant to want to help you then and later. And when they talk to each other, when they're networking with other people talking about you, well, I always want my reputation to precede me in a nice way, as best I can, as often as I can. Am I perfect? By no means. But the more I work at it, the better I get. So the next time you find yourself in that place where somebody's trying to help you, teach you, coach you, any one of those things, ask yourself, am I coming in here with an empty cup, or am I coming in here trying to force my tea on the guy who's trying to give me his tea? And the more you can kind of pay attention to that and go in there with a humble attitude and a modest attitude, I guarantee it'll help you. Hey, sometimes you're going to get a jerk teacher anyway, no matter how hard you try, but that's life. And hey, there's flies in every jar of ointment. So I'd rather hedge the odds in my favor as best as I can, as often as I can. Hey, and that being said too, there's also a time to be confident in yourself. And when you got to be the boss, don't be afraid to be the boss. When you got to straighten somebody out or put somebody in their place, or even if you're not confident or that I don't know what the word is, if you wouldn't do it for yourself, but there's somebody in your life that you would do it for, when the time comes that you got to speak up and be the alpha, don't hesitate. Be that person. Have faith in yourself. Have faith in your training. Have faith in your, God's got your back. Don't be when you got to stand up. Stand up. Be bold, and mighty forces will come to your aid. Well, if you made it this far and you like what I'm teaching and preaching, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and like this video. If you're loving it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you got to have it, make sure you hit the bell notification button and that little spot where it says all notifications, so YouTube will let you know when the next video drops. If you're really digging it and you want more, you can find us on all social media platforms at 5 Elements Tactical. That's all I got for now, Warriors. So until our paths cross again, pray for the best, prepare for the rest. I'm Kyoshi Dave Herman with 5 Elements Tactical Training. Thanks for watching.